So this this um, session is is about lucid dreaming. So what they call lucid dreaming, basically, in a nutshell, it's figuring out that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, knowing that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and then sometimes people can control the dream, which is so interesting. But but so anyway, I figured out how to do it, and it's pretty fun. I mean, you can pretty much live in a different world each night. And so at one point, from what I remember, uh, I I I I I learned how to think through. If I had to study for a test the next day, how to almost stay conscious while sleeping. Like you'll lose complete touch with the world around you. You'll be completely stiff, but it's nothing but blackness. But it's you and your thoughts, and you're dead asleep, but you're very aware of what you're doing. That's a little different. And then there's also a way that you can create your dream. Uh, it starts off black, but you can create your dream. And then also there's another one. And I've done these things. There's another one where before when I started to realize that I could control what I do in my sleep, I watched um, I watched what exactly my mind what happened when I just wanted to see what happens when you fall asleep. And so what I did was I waited until I fell asleep. I kept my mind focused on the fact that I need to be aware. And so it was the most interesting thing. I I started to lose touch with what was going on in my room, in my bed, around me. You lose the feeling, um, lose all awareness, and then you see events that happen during the day, but it's like a shroud of images that that things that happen during the day a lot of times affect you at night, and you might take things personal that aren't necessarily about you. The way you interpret things and the way my mind replayed events and the things that you remember when you're sleeping are things that you might not even spend a lot of time during the day thinking about. It's very interesting to see what your mind shows you at night. And at this point, I wasn't controlling anything. I was just I was just enjoying. I was just watching, and so um, other problems that I had seen on TV, I took as my own, um, which is there's a reason for that because what happens with isomorphic metaphors is you take like if you watch a movie or you hear a story, you begin to you people in neurolinguistic programming use that because that's why you feel special when you see a Disney movie, things like that. You take them personally, even though they're not necessarily about you. And so what my mind was doing was presenting these problems that I had seen on TV, and it was essentially doing its job, presenting it as my own situation. And so I took it personally. But it was interesting to see that things from the outside world I allowed to affect me despite the fact that they were not necessarily about me. But that's how the mind functions some in several capacities. And so, but anyways, but it was interesting because during the nighttime, your perception changes. So, that being said, lucid dreaming, it's interesting. So, in my experience during the day, I've been trying to control my subconscious. And so what I'm doing is uh, trying something that I've never heard to be done before, and um, basically your subconscious controls so many different functions from memory to I mean, just a lot of different things, and I'm not going to specify until after I've completed what I'm trying to complete. But it's one of the interesting things is that when you're sleeping, if you realize it's a dream, you can control what's going on. So your perception is controlled by your subconscious, and uh, knowing that you can alter things, alter alter having the desire to alter certain things will enable you certain liberties, will enable you to have certain liberties, and one of which is controlling your perception. Uh, when you're in a dream state, your mind functions as it does during the day, except it takes complete control. So instead of having a perception of what's around you, the elements around you, like in anchors, I see the door and I see freedom. You know, it symbolizes things to me. That symbolism, that is just your mind um, giving you a perception, giving you understanding of what, controlling how you view the world. But it creates your world. It's essentially the same thing, except completely taking over. Instead of seeing a lamp that exists on the outside, you create it. It's a function. It's something that you do all the time. Instead of understanding your reality, it creates the reality, and then you understand it in the dream. So, anyways, but you can control your perception. You can control how you view the world. You can control what your anchors, how you feel. You have more control. I know that, and so I've been trying to dominate my subconscious essentially during the day, controlling how I feel, controlling my anchors, controlling my memories, um, controlling my state. And I, I was in the middle of a dream. The first dream, I was in I was a Dragon Ball Z character. I think I just watched an episode, or I think I was listening to some theme music on YouTube. And anyways, in the dream, I was a Dragon Ball Z character. But then I realized that I had control. I realized it was a dream. Partly realized it was a dream. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna fly. And so I flew. And I flew because I believed I could fly. Then there was another dream, um, and then I realized that you may be able to fly, but all you're doing is getting to a place that other people can get in various ways. So I felt like that was a metaphor for, um, you may, I don't know, and for the illusion of empowerment, because really, you fly to the top of a building, a person can take the stairs. You fly to the top of a mountain, another person can climb. So it was just, I feel like there is an illusion of freedom that you need to be cognizant of. But there was another one where all my stuff had gotten stolen from school, and it sucked. It was terrible, but it was interesting because I I believed uh, I was like, oh my god, all my stuff is gone, and then I believed that my stuff was there. Like I was sitting there doing like a police report or something, some type of report with a lot of people around, and I said, you know what? I believe that it's here. And then it disappeared. And I think that was me telling myself that you have the ability to create to realities. But you have to believe that you can and focus on it. And so that's what I did. I believed it and I focused on it. And then all these things came back in my dream. All like my Xbox and everything that had gotten stolen. And so it was important to it was important to realize that you, you have you, you're it can certain things that you're able to create with your mind, um, they're never gone. They can be forgotten, um, but you just need to you can have abilities and power and 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 I guess I feel like it was to show you that you what your mind can create, it can create, whether you acknowledge it or not. I thought that my stuff was gone. It wasn't gone. It's never gone. It's just you just have to realize what you can do and then bring it to fruition and focus on the fact that you can do certain things. Um, in this case, have power and dominion over your own life and your perceptions and your state and your situation. You have more power over it than you may acknowledge. I think that was a crucial point in the dream because I got all my I created my I said I have my stuff back. I can have my stuff back, and it came. But I had to believe it. So the third dream was I was just in. Oh, the third dream was interesting because I realized fully that I was dreaming, but it had already started. I was in like an unfamiliar place. Also, your mind creates facts that aren't really facts in your dreams. Um, it creates facts that aren't really facts. So, I was already in a certain spot with a certain amount of knowledge. Uh, like I understood where I was. Like I had been taking the train. I had all these missions I was doing. I was like living out a couple weeks, and I was like, you know what? Hold on. I saw a couple good-looking girls, and I saw another girl, and I saw people walking around. I said, hold on, I'm in a dream, which means I can control this, but I have to believe I can control this. So I said, I can control all the elements of this dream. This is all me. And so it reminded me very much so of Inception by the time I woke up. And I said to myself, okay, all these people walking around, I've created them. I mean, it was a whole world, like a whole society, a whole town. Like people were making phone calls. It was interesting. So I said, I want all these people to stop walking. And people were having conversations around me, and I said, you know what? I want this girl to come over and give me a whole bunch of compliments and just not stop because I can. And so she started doing that. And so I said, I want this other girl to do the same thing. And so then she started doing that. And then I said I wanted all the people to. I said I'm controlling all these people. How can I do that? And I doubted. I just said how can like I'm control. How do I keep them moving? Like now that I realize that I'm moving them, how do I keep them moving? And they just paused. They stopped. That's that's why they stopped. I think I did something to them like at first, and which is why I realized like it I said I changed their behavior, something about them, and that's when I changed the girl. Like I was like, oh, I did that with them. Now I'm gonna do this with this girl, and I knew, but I knew that I had the power to overall, anyways. But I did them first, did this with her, but then I realized how do I keep them going, and they just paused. They just for the rest of the dream they just stopped. They were frozen. Um, and then I had these girls doing whatever I wanted and then I had the people in the room doing whatever I wanted. And I was like, I could fly right now, but I don't really want to fly. So I controlled everybody's personality in the dream. I could control what they said. I could control what they did. And I remember a moment in the dream saying, huh, I could have a real Inception moment and just lift like the floor up to the ceiling. I could do whatever I want. And I don't think I did it. I think I just enjoyed the company that I had for a period of time, and then I woke up. So it was interesting because I knew what I could do. I believed. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is what I can do in this dream, and and I did it. I knew what I could do. I did it, and it was good. It was nice. I what else can I say? Um, is there a lesson there? I understood my environment. I understood what my mind could do. I understood what my mind could create. I understood, but I think well what's also important is that those people stop moving. As I stopped, well, as soon as I was like, how do I keep them moving? Like, what do I like? I had them moving at first. I created that whole thing, and I said, I lost it. Like, I just so I think that's important to focus on because I didn't know how to keep them moving. But yeah, I could control the girls. So I don't know. Review this. I don't. Maybe I don't know. So, anyways, that's lucid dreaming.